It is that kind of Friday. We've got Tim Riungu in the house. He is from the Sax Appeal Experience. We want to talk to him about matters saxophone, matters music. Stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Let's get him settled, and then let's have a chat about that. Don't go away. And welcome back. Tim Riungu is here. He is from the Sax Appeal Experience. Tim.
Yes, Mr. Levy.
I've never had a saxophonist in the building. Karibu sana.
Asante. Imagine that is something you'll never have to say for the rest of your life.
That's it. You know, we have broken that one today.
Yeah, that one is done and dusted.
Now I can say I had a saxophone.
Yes. Now maybe you can think of a violinist or a
It's a very interesting. How do you describe yourself?
I would like to say tall, dark, and handsome. But already at the tall point in Aishangabu.
Yeah.
But no, I'm a saxophonist,
Yes.
a musician, and I particularly love African music and jazz music.
Mm-hmm.
So, and on my instrument, I try to make the two meet together.
Yeah.
And I'm a passionate Kenyan and African.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'm more of a passionate African, in fact.
Na hii mambo ilianza wapi? Were you always a musician? Were you a guy who sang in the house, in the shower?
No. Shower manenos tuache.
Yeah.
First, the fact that I was showering, that was good already. But I believe I always was a musician. It's just I didn't know it.
Mm.
And I say this because as a youngster, I used to always make up songs. My brother and I, we used to, like, when we watch TV and we'll hear the jingles, the commercials there, or the songs, a lot of time that Kizungu was flying past our heads. So we'd just take the tune and then we just reinvent with our own words. And we'd sing silly songs. We just come up with all sorts of silly things.
Yeah.
So for me, I knew I was musical, but I didn't take it seriously because I thought everybody's musical. As a child, again, I always had music going on in my head. Again, I thought everybody has music going on in their head because, like I said, my brother, who, again, didn't follow the line of music, him and I, we were always collaborating on silly songs.
Yeah.
And we, of course, the church we grew up in, we were involved in right from Sunday school. So there were Sunday school programs, Christmas concerts, and that sort of stuff. So we sang, all our friends sang. So I didn't think
it was a
special thing. No, everybody sang. But at some point, I had to acknowledge that this is something different for me.
Yeah. What was the game changer for you?
Game changer, I think, was landing in Nairobi school for my high school. And on the first Wednesday assembly that I attended, we had the school band who they used to come in and they would play a number of songs before the staff members come in and the meeting starts formally. And I remember being awestruck. Who are these? I mean, it was so hard for me to believe that these are students. These are teenagers like me who are producing such excellent music. They were so well coordinated, well drilled. And genuinely inside, I thought the school has employed entertainers from outside just to wear uniform, come, entertain the students, and then go back. Genuinely, sincerely, that was my opinion. But then as I got in there, and our music teacher at the time, Mrs. Amunga, she really championed that our musicianship should not just be theoretical, also practical. So I think that's what got me. So when I started off playing trombone, I realized maybe I can do this after all. And then as you keep growing, and even your closest friends start discovering they have different interests. Then I discovered mine.
So you say with trombone?
I started to
That's not a very easy instrument to play.
Apparently no, it's all about estimation.
Yeah, there's a way you pucker your lips.
Brother, I puckered my lips, believe me.
Yeah. I tried that thing in school and it didn't really.
Did you?
Yeah. Trombone is, that's why I've got a horror experience with it.
Oh no.
But one of the questions people ask about the saxophone
is
just how do people have a difficult time even getting sound out of it?
That is very true. That's very
Was
true.
that a challenge for you when you started?
No, never.
I was hoping you'd tell us you're human. So we can feel at least.
At least. No, let me tell you. Even how I got into the saxophone, it was one of what we can call life's happy accidents.
Yes.
I just mentioned my music teacher, the late Mrs. Amunga. And after she retired from Nairobi School, she was working in a private music school. I think it was called Music Consult. And they were at Adams Arcade in Nairobi. And the rumor went around school, because I was in Form 3. There's a rumor went around school that since we were like her sons, because in fact her sons were our classmates, so the rumor went around that for us Nairobi School fellows, lessons at that school were free. And I said, well, it's December holidays, the long holidays, I'm not doing anything, I might as well go, and there's a freebie being given. Who wastes free things? So I just showed up, not because I had a burning desire to learn anything. Kachai, basically. Well, that wasn't there, but the free thing.
Yes.
I showed up because I didn't even know what I wanted to learn.
How old are you at this point?
At that point, I'm 16. 16, just finishing Form 3. And when I landed there, in fact, the rumors started looking true, because even many of the staff members were ex-Nairobi School students. And I said, yes, this is home, this is family, good. So they asked me, okay, Kijana, what do you want to learn? I said, I don't know, what are you offering? You know, and the list went through the list. There's guitar, piano, trumpet. Some of those things I brushed them off because I thought they were too common. Everybody seemed to know how to play piano. Guitarists were everywhere, you know, this is East Africa. Trumpet we already had in school, and I didn't enjoy it. If you thought trombone is hard, trumpet
is something else.
It's on a different level.
Trumpet neo?
No, it's this one now.
Yeah, kale kadogo.
Kale kadogo. But now the puckering is even more intense at the lips.
Wow.
Then they mentioned saxophone. I said, you mean there are saxophones in Kenya? Those were my exact words. There are saxophones in Kenya? I said, yeah, of course. There's one in the next room. Why don't you go and see if you utaskizana nayo? And I went in there and met my teacher. A gentleman, he introduced himself. Well, he used another name then, but he's the guy we know as Joseph Helen. And he was my first music teacher, my first saxophone teacher, and fantastic teacher. And we're still in touch, and he really, and over the years, I've been inspired by just seeing how he did his music. Yeah. So that was him, and he was so good because he was also in Form 3 in Starehe at the time. He was a student, but he was such a good musician that he was already teaching in the holidays. And he started me off on saxophone. So we did 3 lessons, and I did. Now, what Helen told me right from the very first note I blew, he said, okay, you're a sax player. Because, as you said, getting sound out of it is even a challenge. For me, when I picked up, it responded immediately, and he said he knew immediately that you guys, you've got something. You've clicked with this thing. And really, I was playing tunes by the 3rd lesson. So, now, at the end of the 3rd lesson, I was given an invoice by the school. So it turned out the rumor.
Story are free. Ilikuwa fake news.
Ilikuwa fake news of the highest order. Of the highest order. If Twitter was there, I would have joined Trump and said, this is fake news. So I had to go and present the bill to my dad. He said, but he was in a Christmas mood, so he paid for those 3 lessons plus another 3. And that was the extent of my formal saxophone.
This Kijana is keeping him out of trouble.
It's keeping me out of trouble. And interestingly, Levi, that's the time. At that time, I was in Sitam Valley Road. Yes. And I won't even call it coincidence, but that very December is when they bought a brass band. The church got hold of it, and I remember the then Bishop Adeoye, at the time he was an assistant pastor. Pastor Doyle sends a call out that we have got all these brass instruments. Whoever knows what to do with them, please come and help us. And so I said, okay. So
we Ndani,
me and Danny. And really, then now I can say my musical journey really started from there and growing there, because with these instruments, the key thing is not just that you get a good start, like a good teacher, But it helps when you have your own instrument, so that you keep practicing and practicing and practicing, and then you develop yourself on it.
Yeah.
So at least with the access I had to sitar instruments at the time, later I got my own. Yeah, and now that's my journey.
So tell me, the lungs. People always talk about the lungs.
Yes.
Somebody even alluded to it just before the show.
Yeah.
Said, this thing is not for people with asthma.
Oh, no. Let me tell you, the saxophone, it's about technique, not about amount of air. But by technique, I mean how you control the air that you have. My lungs, your lungs, they are the same standard size. But the difference is I know how to control and regulate my airflow and get the most with minimal air. Actually, I would say a saxophonist does not use more air than even a singer when a singer is singing. Because again, and vocalists will tell you, it's about the technique, the voice control, the breath control. So in the case of the saxophone, actually one of the most famous saxophone players in the world, American mzee called David Sanborn, he got into it because his doctor prescribed, when he was a teenager as well, he also had, I think, some respiratory issues as a young guy.
Yeah.
And one of the therapies the doctor recommended is pick up a wind instrument, because then
it expands the chest.
It expands, yes. And you'll compel your lungs to develop, your breathing to be better. And he did it, and now he's in his 70s.
You know, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I had a surgery not too long ago, maybe three or so years ago, and they gave me this small thing with little balls inside.
Oh, yeah? To be blowing?
So you blow them, and then the idea is to keep the balls up in the air. After surgery, they try to,
Yes.
So it's very difficult.
Is it?
At first, oh yeah.
Look, if it's difficult, then I advise you, learn the saxophone. At least you will get some music in return. So just keep
blowing for nothing.
Seeing balls bouncing.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me about the first time you played and thought, you know what, I'm good. When did you say, you're also looking at something you're like,
yes. Well, let me go back again to my teenage roots in Sitam Valley Road. And this would have been maybe 94. And what happened, the director of the brass band and the director of the choir, they decided, let's blend the two. And I was in Form 4 at the time. We played a song which was very popular at the time, Anointing Fall on Me by Ron Kenoly. Now, how we arranged it was the trumpet did verse 1, saxophone did verse 2, and then the choir came in on verse 3. And the response was overwhelming. And I remember thinking, because we had been practicing, so for us it was more of the sweat of practicing. Let's get this right. Then when we did it, and there was practically a standing ovation, and I was like, wait. Either they are crazy or I'm crazy. But what's the hula baloo? But then I thought, kuna kitu, it's worth exploring.
Yeah. And then how did you see, there's that whole thing, people say, is this what you did after high school? Did you go into this fully?
No, not really, not fully. After high school, I did a stint with the Youth for Christ. We just did our tours around the country. But then, like many young people back then, we didn't see this. We didn't see music as a career. Ailipi. And
kuna hiyo ni hobby.
Yes, that's a hobby. You do something. Yes, do something. Yeah. You're a man. In fact, you're the one who needs to provide shughulika. So, about taking it seriously, no, not really. I didn't do that for a while. I did it knowing that this is a pastime. This is just something on the side. But for the longest time, I was trying to get into a white-collar profession. And had aspirations of studying law. I think people used to tell me, you have a very quick mouth. You might as well make that mouth pay you. So a lawyer sounds like a good thing. It will keep you out of trouble. And I kept on trying to get into law, but somehow it never came together. But the only openings I kept finding were in music. The openings here, in music. So eventually, I decided, okay, why don't I do this thing? Well, to cut a short story long, I found myself, I ended up in Daystar, and I did a 2-year diploma in music, which really opened my eyes.
Yeah.
I was under fantastic lecturers like Helen Mtawali and Professor Florence Meir, and others like that. And especially Helen, because she's such a practical...
Yeah, she's also an inspirational person.
A very inspirational person. And for her, music is not a theory. She does it. She practically does it. And she, you know, around the time I was there, we founded the group Afrizo, which is still going on like 20 years later. And Afrizo meaning African Zone Voices. So I think Helen and Daystar generally, disclaimer, I'll say, in Daystar I was the best saxophonist and also the worst saxophonist because I was the only saxophonist in the campus. They didn't teach me much because there was nobody to teach saxophone. But what they did teach was music, theory of music, and then other aspects of music, you know, African music, ethnomusicology. So
it was still useful?
A lot useful.
Are your parents, have they been always supportive?
They have been supportive.
Was there a time they thought he...
Yeah.
Anacheza
sana. Well, that's funny. That mostly my father was the one who had the question marks. Eh?
Yeah, our dads,
Understandably. Understandably.
That,
And yet my dad probably was far more of an inspiration in music to me because when we were kids, he always had this thing of giving us stories, folk stories, Kimeru folk stories. And like we all know, our African folk stories, it's not just a dry narrative. At some point, somebody sang something. So you find like a monster, maybe an ogre captures a girl.
Yeah.
And ties her in his compound, you be the one cooking and cleaning. And so she's so sad and now she's so sad because she's missing her home, her family. So she'll express her sadness in song. So when she's doing her housework, you'll hear a song that, something to the effect of, people told me don't enter that forest. Nobody should enter that place. You know, it is dangerous. There's an ogre. And I never listened. I entered the forest. I went. But now woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. And there'll be actually a song to a tune. And you see, if you're the storyteller, at that point you have to stop and you have to sing that song. And you see, the point, that song has to be sung because then the hero gets to hear the girl singing. And he says, there's a girl in distress somewhere. Then now he's the one who goes and saves her. So my dad used to do those things. I don't even know what I'll sing to my children because I tried learning those things. Peter. But I got used to music in the house. My parents were always singing, always in the house. It's just that there was a bit of friction when it came to what are you going to do for a career and this music. But eventually they came around and they have been really huge support.
What about you? It's a self-question. You know, most people who want to try something are always so undecided.
Yeah.
Somebody said if you're not scared of it, then you're not in the right place. Some little scare is necessary. Did it scare you? I want to go into this full time and...
Levy, it scared me massively. It scared me big time. Because it's not giving you guarantees. If, and I realize and I had to ask myself, have an honest conversation, what is attracting me to a white-collar career? And white-collar careers are not bad, not at all. It's just, what is your motive for being there? Now, was I in love with the law? That I would do the law, study the law, practice the law, even for free? Did I have that passion? I couldn't say that about law. But what attracted me to law is that, I'll get to wear a suit and a tie and I'll have an 8 to 5 and hopefully a guaranteed salary at the end of the month. Now that was it. And people have said, really, doing something for money, it's a very, very low motivation. It's a very low reason to be doing it. Rather, my mentor used to tell me, the thing that you can do for free and you can do it well, yet you're doing it for free. Now, you're the one who merits to be paid the most in that area. I'll repeat that. When you can do something very well, yet you're doing it for free, now that is what qualifies you to be the best paid in that area. So it had to come back to me that, Tim, this thing is giving you no guarantees, but do you still love it? Yani, could I say it's almost like marriage, that there are no guarantees, but you're doing it for love. Now,
yeah, we're just jumping in anyway, with the hope
yes,
that it shall be well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the way, we'll come up with a strategy. But at the end of the day, we know that even if things are not going well, if I wake up and pick up the saxophone, I'll still have joy. And Levi, let me tell you, it's, well, over 20, 25 years later, I still pick up the saxophone and my soul is warmed. I'm so glad that I chose
I like
this.
that. We're going to pause there because I want you to pick up the saxophone and feel that warmth in your soul. We'll be right back. We want to listen to a little bit of Tim Riungu, and he can tell us where he does this, how he does this, is it too expensive, and things like that. Oh, wow. I know they're clapping.
Thank you.
I know they asked you to do something else. Just one more. Just one more. Huh?
Okay. In the spirit of being Africans, I think we can do an old classic from what was then Zaire.
All right.
All right.
Oh, wow. Tim
Yeah.
RIUNGU. Have a seat, my good man.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Sit with the instrument. I think people want to see it even.
No worries.
You did something called transposition. Am I correct?
Yes, did I?
Yeah. Where you like move from one key to.
Yes, that's transposition. Sounded like, but it wasn't actually a transposition.
Really?
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
I don't know.
How do you get it to do like two different pitches? But
Yeah.
you
No,
know.
no. Well, you think in one and translate it. It's like thinking in mother tongue and then putting it in English.
Wow.
Yeah, from one language to another.
And you told me that this thing works better when you have other instruments. Usually you don't
Yes.
play alone.
Yes, yes, yes. I don't play alone. I play with a trio. We call ourselves the Sax Appeal Experience. And that's acoustic guitar and percussions, which creates a very nice acoustic sound and a very African sound as well. So, and you can catch us every Thursday at Ndemi Place, Kilimani, and Fridays at Gecko Cafe in Lavington.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so how did the three of you come together and say, you know what, this is...
Oh, wow. Well, I had been playing with bands for quite a number of years. Then about 2018, the last band I was with, AfroSync, we disbanded. And I was thinking, okay, I want a different sound and a different experience. And, you know, these are the things you can't answer logically because an idea just comes from wherever ideas come from. And I just thought, I've been with saxophone and keyboard and drums and all that. Why don't I try saxophone and guitar and a percussion kit? And so we just started. Actually, it was just two, saxophone and guitar. And Gecko Cafe said, hey, no, come, why don't we try something? And on our first night, there was 2 tables only, guests on only 2 tables. So most of the time, for those first maybe 3 months, a lot of times we were just playing to the waiters because there was nobody who was coming. But then word started going around that hey, wait, there's something different happening there. And so Friday night started picking up at Gecko Cafe. And well, today I think it's their biggest night, but now all their nights are full. The place just generally picked up. People discovered it. And they just discovered also this kind of music is not offered anywhere else. You know, clubs have got DJs and the
boom twelve.
The boom 12. And the boom the boom 12 crowd is catered for in clubs. But for those who are looking for something quite different, they have discovered it with us.
Tell me about the keys. You know, people always wonder those keys. Right?
Yeah.
What's what there? Just give us a quick tutorial.
A quick tutorial. All right. Well, starting with the left hand. Actually, let's close the left hand and everything all the way down. In music, we know notes by the alphabet. So when we close everything all the way down to the little finger, that's your C. Then we just go a C, D, E, F as we keep opening. It's going upwards, yes. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Practically, it would sound... When you get that, then
lesson number 1.
That's lesson number 1. Now, when you get that, you can start mixing and matching to create melodies.
Does it matter which hand you're using? Like I see your left is on top, your right is at the bottom.
Yeah, those are fixed positions.
Would you say there are saxophones for the other, you know?
Not that I've ever come across.
I'm an Evo too.
Nevo too. Because it's, no, whether you're naturally left-handed or right-handed, it doesn't seem to affect the saxophone. Actually, all woodwind instruments. Woodwinds now are flutes, clarinets, all those. No, they all just have the same standard finger positions.
What about the position now of blowing? You know, that's the thing that gets people the most. They say, how do you get it to blow?
All right. Well.
Then you have like a wooden thing there. What is that?
Okay, first, what you can see, the white part, that's the mouthpiece. Then the little brown part that's there. Now that's the reed. It's made of bamboo. It's actually the one that produces sound. So the key thing is, if you can get the reed to vibrate, then you're good. So the music, all the sound in a saxophone starts here. For example, So if you can get the reed to do that for you, then you're in a good place. So this is the factory.
So do you sometimes give people the reed, cheza yo kwanza?
Actually, yes. Yes. I would give them the mouthpiece with the reed, yeah. Like that. So that the rest of the instrument is now just to take what this
is
makes,
doing, yes.
and now adds
And
curry
then
powder and aromat and kachumbari.
Yes.
That's pretty much it.
Oh, nice.
That's
really good to know, eh?
Yep.
People say that instrument is very expensive.
Well,
Like this one looks like it's more than my salary.
I'd have to sit with your boss first before I can confirm.
It's,
well, yeah, it's not. It's an investment. It's just like anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is an investment, and something that I would really like to see in Kenya and in Africa, in fact, is a state where maybe, I don't know if it's government to do it, but if we could have instruments or that facility that investment is made in instruments so that people first discover what you're good at. Come, test, try, at talent centers. So we have a piano here, try it out. If piano is not your thing, maybe try guitar, and you might find someone, wow, I discovered guitar, I love this thing. Rather than buying a piano and then discovering you're not really much of a pianist. But you've already made that investment. As you said, it's not cheap. But when you do find where you belong musically, that investment is worth many times over. Whatever I paid for this saxophone, even if we're talking at the monetary level, it has paid itself back many times financially, but then more importantly, right here in the heart, right in that place I was telling you where the heart is happy, the satisfaction a million times.
Yeah, you just answered a question I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you what gives you the greatest satisfaction. Like, for you, you've been playing for a while now. You're also doing gigs, yes?
Yes,
you do weddings,
weddings,
graduations.
yeah, functions,
Yeah.
corporate functions,
Yeah.
diplomatic. Yeah, we've done those for years.
You've done those things. So let me ask, even when you are playing, I mean, the money aside and looking for, what do you think, what gives you the most joy?
Oh, the most joy has
Or is it the tunes?
No, not even the tunes. Because God knows, and this I'm telling my gecko people, if you feel like paying me more, I don't mind at all. But more than the money, by far it is when people come and say, thank you. We have a lot of regulars. At the places where I play regularly, we have customers who are regulars. They never miss any Thursday, any Friday. And most of all, and one fellow I know, he's actually a professor at USIU, and he'll come and say, I've just had the craziest week, but as long as I knew Friday jazz was going to be there, that is what has given me the motive to push through. And I come, and when I listen to you, my soul is full. My heart is happy. So many people have told me that I've actually discovered, I had to admit to myself, Levi, that I'm almost like a pharmacist.
You are. So you read even King David had a guy.
He had a guy. Yes. It was King Saul actually, and King David was that guy.
Yeah.
But apparently it is because people.
Yes, it was King Saul and King David was the guy. Yeah.
Yes.
People
People come in a foul mood. People come and life has thrown all sorts of things at them throughout the week. At work it was kerere, at family it's kerere. But a guy comes and just relaxes, and now he can go home and there's peace. He comes, he brings his wife over, and they have such a wonderful time that, it lifts up everybody. And I realized, Tim, maybe for you this is just something normal. It's just another day at work. But there are for so many people, what they have told me is what you're doing is something special to us. So that's what gives me the satisfaction. In fact, that's what gets me out of bed. That maybe if it was just for me, if I don't feel like playing, I won't play. But when I know somebody else is counting on it. And incidentally, in these days, there's the buzzword of mental health. When you find that this lifts up somebody mentally, their state of mind, their state of emotions and all that, man, then you start doing it as a vocation. And
you know what happens when you're doing that?
You
lift them, but you also lift you.
That is so true. That is so true. You get lifted as you lift others.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I count it a real blessing And also the other good thing is that unlike my white collar career, which I had so aspired to, with this one, I don't have to ever retire from it. So Levi, hopefully, if you're still doing telly at the age of 70, you call me. We'll talk as now wazee wa kazi. And God willing, I'll still be blowing this thing.
And you'll still be coming.
Yes.
Amen to that.
All right.
And the final question, I know you get this one a lot.
Sure.
Especially from young people. They ask, you know, I want to try this.
Yeah.
I want to be a musician.
Yeah.
I feel like it's in me. What advice would you tell them? Talk to them.
Young person, you feel this is in you. Music chooses you, let me say. Music chooses you long before you know to choose it. So, and I'm saying that just so that you can have an honest conversation with yourself. Are you wanting to get into music just for the fashion, just for the glamour that you think is there? Because it is glamorous, but let me tell you, behind every 1 hour of glamour, the reality is that you might have to put in 100 hours of toil that nobody is thanking you for. In fact, there's something we call 10,000 hours. To become an expert in anything, you need to have put in 10,000 hours in it. Ask pilots. So, if this is what you want, if this is what has chosen you and is giving you satisfaction, if you're coming in for the right reasons, now, not money. Money is just a happy benefit. You'll make money, I'm sure, if you're good. But how to get in? Start where you are. Right where you are is good enough. Are you singing in a choir? Then give that choir your best and start learning. Ask questions. Look for somebody who knows a bit more music than you and start from there. And this will lead to that, will lead to the other, will lead to the other. If you don't have money for your instrument, that's not a problem. Neither did I. Actually, my parents have never bought me an instrument, though I started playing as a teenager. But somehow, I sat down and I thought hard and I figured out. And somehow, I always got that instrument. Without stealing, by the way. But what I would say to somebody, a young person who feels this is your thingy, where you are is good enough to start, but don't be satisfied there. Keep pushing, knock on doors. Look for an instrument to be practicing on. Check at your local church. Check somebody who you know. These are the days of social media. Reach out to somebody who is doing what you are doing and start picking their brains. And also, don't expect people to give things for free. By that, I'm not talking corruption, no. What I'm talking is pay the price. If you want somebody to, if you come to me and say, I would like to play in your band because I think I can play. Well, I don't know you. However, these are the days of social media. You can take a simple video of yourself singing, playing, doing what you are. Send that to me. That's how I'll judge how far you are and whether you are worth the investment. Let me tell that would be my word to you. Pay the price and make yourself, package yourself, and think of who you want to sing to, who you want to speak to with your music. And start packaging yourself for that audience. Because the audience is there. They're looking for you, but you have to be found and you have to be found ready. So you take the time, put in the work behind the scenes, and when you get your 15 minutes, it'll be worth it.
Well, thank you. I see you've become a wise man, too. it's a jazz, eh?
Experience.
Experience is always the best teacher, I tell you.
Not the best, it's the most painful.
It's the most painful?
Yeah, it's the most painful teacher.
It deals you heavy blows, but you learn.
Yeah. The best teacher is the word of God. But that's for another show.
I like that. Tell me, are you on social media?
I am on social media. You can find me at Timo RIUNGU. That is on Instagram. I'm at Timo RIUNGU. Facebook, Tim RIUNGU. Come, let's connect, let's chat. Twitter, I'm also there, at Timo RIUNGU as well. Yeah.
Tim, thank you so much for coming, for sharing your wisdom, for playing your music. I feel very uplifted this Friday. I'm
very glad. Thank you, Levi, for having me.
Yeah.
And karibu to my show. Let me host you rounding in.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Tim RIUNGU from the Sax Appeal, musician par excellence. He says you can find him on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, at Tim RIUNGU.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful, wonderful morning. God bless you. Have a good weekend, and see you next week, God willing.